Hi guys, it's TL again. I'm back with a couple tips here, and I want to go into personalizing your horn since we talked about mouthpieces the last time. And I always hear people talk about, I don't like the valves on that trumpet or the valve action. And I've found that a high percentage of the time it's not really the valves that they're really complaining about, it's the valve springs. You can customize the valve springs. I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, so let me show you. We'll start with the first valve here. It's an example. So you take the valve out, depending on the mechanism. Some of the older trumpets, the valve is at the bottom here, and you'll take it and have the spring out. Others, it's on the outside here. In the case of this one, it's an internal. Okay, you have to get access to the spring. So take off the top here in this case. And we're going to customize the feel of your valve. Now, if you think your valve is a little sluggish or a little too soft, take your spring, finger at each end, and gently stretch it a bit. Okay? What you're going to do is increase the resistance of the spring. So now that when you put it back together and back in the horn, you're going to get much more resistance, a little more pop, and a little more bang. And if it wasn't enough, you take it out and do it again. Now, if it's too stiff, or you're adjusting it and you find out it's too stiff, don't worry. You can still adjust it. So let me get this back off again. Now, make sure you have a hold of the spring when you do this, because I've had them get away from me and they're hard to find. I like to grab at the middle. And this again is to make the spring softer, or the action softer. Take, compress it, and when you compress it all the way down, move it back and forth, like so. See how I'm moving it back and forth? This will soften or weaken the spring. So now that when you put it back together, back in the valve, it'll be less resistant to the system and a little softer to the feeling. Okay? See? A little softer. Can you even hear it? A little swishy. That's, for me, it's way too soft. So, what I do is I finally get what I want on the first valve. Once I get it to where I want it, then I take my time and I stretch or compress the spring until I get the second valve to do the same thing, and vice versa. Now here's a really cool thing you can do. If you're like me and your third finger isn't quite the best and you want to train it to get it to work a little better, make your third valve spring stronger than these two. In doing so, you're going to give it a little more strength and you're going to make it work a little harder. And then when you feel it's comfortable, go ahead, go back in and soften it until it matches this. And then you have the flexibility, see, too soft, to do what you need to. All right, I hope that helps, guys. See you next time.